In the following examples, we are asked to find the sum of the series. And so what we're dealing with here is a geometric series. And to find the sum, it's real simple. We're going to use this formula a over 1 minus r, where a is just the initial value that you're dealing with, and r is just the common ratio, the factor that gets multiplied into each of these subsequent elements of the series, or of this sequence, I should say. So let's see what we're looking at here. If I'm looking for the a value, all right, the initial value, this would be the case when n equals 0. So 5 to the 0 is 1, so we're left with 6 divided by 1, which is 6. Our common ratio in this case, r, seems to be 1/5 to the nth power. So each subsequent step gets multiplied by 1/5. So the first value may be 6, the next value is 6/5, and then the value after that is 6/25, and so forth and so on. So our r value is 1/5. All right. And it's important to note, just as a side note here, that this will in fact converge. All right, and it converges because the common ratio is less than 1, and it's the absolute value of the common ratio, rather, should be less than 1 for it to converge. So we've got enough information to figure out the sum. All we have to say then is 6 divided by 1 minus 1/5, all right, which is 6 divided by, and this is 5 out of 5 minus 1 out of 5. If you think about it, you need a common denominator. So what's that? 4/5. 6 divided by 4/5. So what does that equal? Well, that is the same as 6 times 5 out of 4, which is 30 out of 4, which is 15 out of 2. And so that right there is our sum, 15 out of 2. So in the next example, it's very, very similar. All right. The difference here is that I see a -1 to the nth power. Well, this means that it's going to be, flip-flopping, positive, negative, and so forth and so on. So let's take a look first at the 0 value so we can figure out what a is. So we're going to say n equals 0. That means -1 to the nth, -1 to the 0 is just 1. 3 to the 0 is just 1, so we're left with just 5. Our common ratio r, however, is an alternating pattern of 1/3. All right, so it's going to be -1/3 when you think about it. All right, it's -1/3. There's your r value. So it still follows that this will converge because it's the absolute value of r that has to be less than 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in what we know into this sum formula. So we're going to say 5 divided by 1 minus -1/3, okay, which is 5 divided by, and a 1 minus a -1/3 is 1 plus 1/3, so 3 out of 3 plus 1 out of 3 is 4 out of 3. So what does this look like? 5 times 3 out of 4, which is 15 out of 4. And this right here is the sum of this series. So again, we're just applying this very basic formula, a over 1 minus r, to find the sum of the series, and it's nothing to it. So as always, I hope this video is helpful, and remember, like and subscribe.